This is Ask a Couples Counsellor, a show that answers all the relationship questions you're too afraid to ask. On the show, we'll take your questions and give you the tools you need to build trust and intimacy with your partner. I'm your host, Neha Kapoor. I'm a registered clinical counsellor and psychotherapist, and I'm really passionate about helping couples navigate the challenges that we all go through. Because after all, every relationship encounters some stormy weather now and then. Welcome back to another episode where we dive into the complexities of love, relationships, and personal growth. Today, we're tackling two important questions sent in by our listeners. First up, we have a query from Belinda in Melbourne, who asks, how do you move past, repair, and heal past hurts and fractures in a relationship? It's a question that resonates deeply with many of us, as we've all experienced bumps along the road of love. Healing past hurts can be a challenging, yet ultimately rewarding journey. We'll explore practical steps and strategies to mend those fractures and nurture a healthier bond. And later, we'll delve into another significant topic brought to us by Lily in Sydney. How can you enter a new relationship with complete trust in your partner after experiencing betrayal in a previous relationship? Betrayal can leave deep wounds, but it doesn't have to define our future connections. We'll discuss actionable steps to rebuild trust and forge a new path forward in love. Join us as we navigate these intricate aspects of relationships, offering insights, guidance, and encouragement along the way. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so our first question for today comes from Belinda in Melbourne. And Belinda has asked, how do you move past, repair, and heal past hurts and fractures in a relationship? I think that's a great question, Belinda, and it's a question that resonates with many of us. Look, healing past hurts and fractures in a relationship can be a challenging but ultimately rewarding process. And I'm going to give you some steps that you might want to consider. The first step is open communication, and I say this to all my couples. Start by openly discussing the issues that have caused hurt or fractures in the relationship. And what this requires is that both partners are willing to listen without judgment and express themselves honestly and respectfully. Another thing that you might want to consider is empathy. And I know people trip up with empathy because they try to misunderstand empathy for compassion. And those are two separate things. What I mean by empathy is to feel with your partner, not to step into your partner's shoes and look at it from their perspective. What I want you to do is to try and understand your partner's perspective and acknowledge their feelings. Empathy can help both partners feel validated and supported. If you're able to feel with your partner, it's more likely that they're going to be feeling understood. Something that I do say to consider is forgiveness. Look, I know forgiveness isn't easy, but forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or condoning hurtful actions, but rather letting go of resentment and moving forward with a clean slate. And this can be a gradual process, and it may require effort from both parties. So it's not something that is going to happen overnight. It will take some time. Because what happens is that you need to rebuild trust in the relationship. And rebuilding trust takes time and consistent effort. And both partners need to demonstrate trustworthiness through their actions and words. And the way to build trust is to do little actions that match your words. Because trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. So it's crucial to work on restoring it. Something else that you might want to consider is seeking support. Look, sometimes healing past hurts may require the assistance of a therapist or a counsellor, and a professional can provide guidance, tools, and a neutral space for both parties to work through their issues. So if you're experiencing some roadblocks along the way, make sure that you're seeking some professional support. Another thing that you might want to consider is setting boundaries. So establishing healthy boundaries can prevent future hurt and protect the relationship. So both partners should communicate their needs and boundaries very clearly in a relationship, because respecting each other's limits is very important in healing past hurts and fractures. And what I do say to all my couples is try and focus on the present and future. So I know it's important to address past hurts, but dwelling on them excessively can hinder progress. So instead of focusing on the past too much, focus on the present moment and the steps that you can take together to strengthen your relationship moving forward. And remember that healing takes time and effort from both parties. So be patient with yourself and with each other and try and navigate that process through patience and love and understanding. I hope that answers your question. All right, so let's get into our next question for today. Our next question comes from Lily in Sydney, and Lily has asked, how can you enter a new relationship with complete trust in your partner after experiencing betrayal in a previous relationship? I think that's a great question, Lily, and many of us can relate to that because betrayal can leave deep wounds, but it doesn't have to define our future connections. So entering a new relationship after experiencing betrayal in a previous one can be daunting, but it's possible to rebuild trust and have a healthy relationship again. I'm going to talk about some steps that you might want to consider. The first one being self-reflection. So take the time to reflect on your past relationship and the betrayal that you experienced. Understand how it's affected you and what lessons you've learned from the experience. This self-awareness can help you approach new relationships with more clarity. Another important thing that you might want to consider is healing. So allow yourself time to heal from the pain of the betrayal before jumping into a new relationship. Because I know that that's like something that you want to do immediately after you get out of another relationship. You want to jump into a new one. But I say that's a no-no. Engage in self-care activities, seek support from friends or a therapist, and process your emotions in a healthy way first before you jump into any other relationship. Another one that I say to all my clients, and I'll say that to you as well, openly communicate. So if you're in a new relationship, communicate openly and honestly with your partner about your past experiences and any concerns that you have about trust, because transparency from the beginning can help build a strong foundation of trust. Trust takes time to build, and the way to build trust is to align your actions with your words. So look for consistency and reliability in your partner's behavior, as these are indicators of trustworthiness. And the most important thing is to set boundaries. So establish clear boundaries in your new relationship and communicate them openly with your partner. And boundaries can help create a sense of safety and security, which are very essential for rebuilding trust as well. So take things at a pace that feels comfortable for you and don't rush into deep commitments until you feel ready. Try and focus on building a healthy connection. So instead of fixating on past betrayals, focus on building strong, healthy connections with your new partner. Try and cultivate qualities like mutual respect, empathy, and supportiveness in your relationship. And try and practice forgiveness. So I know that it can be challenging, but try to forgive your past partner for their betrayal, because holding on to anger and resentment will only hinder your ability to trust in your future relationships. So you have to try and practice forgiveness and also try and trust yourself, because trusting your instincts and intuition in your new relationship is really important. So if something doesn't feel right, address it with your partner and seek clarity. So trusting yourself is a key to trusting others. Just remember that. And give it time. Look, rebuilding trust takes time and patience. So be kind to yourself and your partner, because you are navigating this journey together. Celebrate the progress that you make along the way, and just remember that every relationship is unique. So while past experiences may shape your approach, they don't necessarily dictate the outcome of your new relationship. And with time, effort, and mutual respect, it's possible to find love and trust again. I hope that answers your question, Lily. All right, so that's it for today's episode. Stay tuned for the next episode. You've been listening to Ask a Couples Counsellor, a show that answers all the relationship questions you're too afraid to ask. This show is produced by Novo Empower Counselling. We provide a range of services, including couples counselling, individual counselling, and online counselling. To find out more, visit our website novoempowercounselling.com.au. This show was produced with strategy and production support from Wavelength Creative. To make sure you don't miss an episode of Ask a Couples Counsellor, be sure to subscribe to or follow the show in your podcast app. And while you're there, I'd love it if you could leave me a 5-star review. It really helps others find the show. I'm your host, Neha Kapoor, and I'll see you in the next episode.